Students, now see, we have talked that what way we can convince the people for organizational citizenship behavior. So many things, I think during last two lectures, I have defined it very categorically. I have tried to motivate the people for organizational citizenship behavior. But you must be knowing the pros and cons of organizational citizenship behavior. And what is the dark part of organizational citizenship behavior? Suppose oftenly you are trying to give the best to the organizations, you are performing well, and you are giving more idea about for the development of organizations. But thing is that up to what extent? Are you ready to give maximum beyond your limit? Then that may be harmful. Remember, I think so many research are there basically, no? Sometimes they may have some kind of other disease, workplace related disease, and that may create some other problems. Your family may disturb, that may lead to the work-family conflict, because always you talk about work every time. So what about your other life, personal life? What about your recreational space? This is very important to understand what is the dark part of organizational citizenship behavior. I can understand citizenship behavior is required, but there is no limit. Nobody can fix the limit basically. Limit is very important things. There is no any barometer telling you, whereas we can fix the limit. So see the third lecture, dark side of agenda, introduction, exploitation and burnout, neglecting of core job responsibilities, impression, management and inauthenticity, unfair workload distribution, reinforcement of toxic culture, work-life conflict, gendered expectations, encouraging silence. So many things are there, students. You will be knowing exactly that what is the dark part of organizational citizenship behavior. It's a question marks, I am telling you, question mark in the sense up to what extent, level, this is very important level. Extent is very important. That's why I told that research is required. Without research, I think so many things you have seen, last several days, that how many hours one is to work. Some people say 90 hours, some people say 120 hours, some people say, work every day, day, night. Several incidents are there that because of work, some people, they have lost their life. Some people are having chronic disease, so many things are there, but dark side are there, definitely. What exactly? See, I need to define it, citizenship behavior, once again, very introductory part, since in fact, I have discussed in earlier part also, but very minor description. It is the voluntary extra role actions that employees perform to support their colleagues and enhance organizational effectiveness, while OCB is widely praised for fostering teamwork, efficiency and a positive work environment. Emerging research reveals its hidden cost and unintended negative consequences is very important. Initially, scholars like Organ defined OCB as a purely beneficial, but later studies like as Boligno et al. 2004 and Barjaran 2007 uncovered its darker aspect, including employee exploitation, burnout, role conflict, workplace inequalities. For instance, an employee who constantly stays late to help others may face burnout, while co-workers might take advantage of their goodwill, leading to social loafing. This is very important. Coles and Boligno 2013. Additionally, managers may unintentionally reward OCP over core job performance, including skewed incentives. Allen and Rouge 1998. I think this is very important. Some people can say it is beneficial, some people can take advantage because you are helping others, but work is on that person or that particular person name, and he will be taking all kind of advantage that can create some other problems at workplace related stress. So this is very important part, students. Now see dark side of OCB. This is my very interesting. I think try to explore something about what is the dark part, what is the negative aspect of organizational citizenship behavior. Students, this thing to be exploitation and burnout definitely very important, neglect, job responsibilities, impression management, unfair load, reinforcement, toxic of work culture, work-life conflict, gender expectation, encouraging silence is very important part. I am telling you each and every part, which is much behavioral. And I think how many people you can understand this part basically, some listener maybe, organization. I think this course is open for all, from industry, of course, from researcher, from other people, those who are ready to do this kind of research. I think this is one of the important part. That is the one can say that what is the antecedents of bitter what I said that organizational citizenship behavior. One by one, let us start to discuss that first part. What is it basically? Expedition and workout. What is it exactly? Bolineau and Tartney 2005 defined that one of the most discussed dark side of POSIP is the role overload. Employees who frequently engage in extra role behaviors may find themselves overwhelmed by the additional tasks, leading to stress, fatigue, and eventually burnout. It's very important workplace related disease, you can say. There is stress, fatigue, eventually burnout. It's very important to understand all kind of things. Otherwise, this is especially true when OCB is sustained over time without appropriate recognition or compensation. For instance, a university teacher, lecturer who constantly takes an additional responsibilities, organizing seminar, mentoring students or assisting colleagues may struggle to maintain their primary teaching and research duties, resulting in emotional exhaustion. As I told, that is the level. It's a big question mark. There may be the chance of, because some people are acting, some people are overacting, some people are knowingly they are taking the advantage of others. This is very important, but they are taking undue privilege from others. This is also very important. Second important part, which is very important, neglecting job responsibilities. What is it exactly? How do you measure? This is the task performance, there is external performance. It's very typical to understand. That is very difficult to realize this particular part. Students, believe me, since I am actively engaged in this particular research, HR and OB, and I have tried to understand basically, what level of task performance people are fulfilling, people are performing. And I have seen that some cases people are jumping from their task performance. They are not fulfilling their job performance. They are doing that particular job which is very flashable, which can create some kind of value to others, which can create some impression. They forget, there is some forgotten that some basic duty, and that is very neglecting job responsibilities. Neglecting job responsibility refers to the intentional or unintentional failure of an employee to fulfill their assigned tasks, duties or expectations, even resulting in reduced performance, productivity and organizational efficiencies. Believe this particular point, students. It's not like that organizational citizenship behavior is very important, very typical, but not like that. But what is very important to observe whether people perform tasks, duties or not brilliantly, whether task duties have been designed scientifically or not, whether there is some kind of sufficient flexibility when you frame the job distribution in scientific way, whether people are taking undue advantage of task performance, that is job description, because job description is not well managed scientifically, that leads some kind of problems. So I think that is one of the a good example, consider the case of university faculty members who spends considerable time mentoring students outside scheduled hours, organizing academic conference. While these actions demonstrate strong organizational citizenship, the same faculty members may delay grading assignments, neglect curriculum development, miss deadlines for submitting research proposal. Over time, this neglect of core responsibilities can impact both individual performance reviews and departmental efficiency. This very, since I am in the university system, I am just giving you the sum of example of university context. Then impression management and inauthenticity is also one of the great darker part of organizational citizenship behavior. Impression management refers to behavior individual used to influence how they are perceived by others, particularly superiors or cohorts, that is co-workers, that is Lears and the Koliski 1990. Inauthentic OCP is when external behaviors are not driven by genuine pro-social values, but by self-serving motives. This is very important. Inauthentic OCP is when external behaviors are not driven by genuine pro-social values, but by self-serving motives. It is very important, you know, inauthenticity, inauthentic behavior and impression management. You are not basically trying to help others, actually you want to build some kind of impression, and which is much important to understand, which is much very critical, you know, darker part of organization. Basic purpose of OCB is not being fulfilled, that because of, if you are not understanding being a HR leadership, being a organizational leader, you are not understanding that what way people are performing, and whether basically for creating information or inauthenticity like that. Imagine an employee in corporate office who regularly helps co-workers, volunteers for company events and stay late during visible projects, but only when supervisors are around. This individual may be less harmful or even indifferent when such behaviors go unnoticed. In this case, employees' OCP is performed and driven by image management, not genuine organizational commitment. While the actions may appear positive, they may mask a lack of engagement with core responsibilities or even undermine some trust if colleagues' sense of insincerity. This is very important part. Then fifth number things, unfair workload distribution is very important part. Basically, you know, sometimes we are not distributing our workload scientifically. Role theory suggests that people generally seek to behave in ways that are consistent with the way their role are defined. Khan et al. 1964. Role overload described situation in which employees feel that there are too many responsibilities or activities expected of them in light of the time available, their abilities or other constants. Organ and Ryan 1995 suggested that high level of engagement in OCB may lead to role overload. Defined that Conley and Wosley 2000 defined that overload as a phenomena that arises from the pressure of extra duties and responsibilities of the organization. It occurs when a person is handed over several responsibilities or several roles tasks at the same time with a short deadline. Some of example you can see, when a manager consistently design complex or time consuming tasks to a few high performing employees while they are given easier duties, it leads to burnout, resentment among the overburdened staff. So, unfair workload distribution is also one of the important things. I think this is very important in the sense, practically we have seen basically we are giving more work to that particular person, those who are performing well. So, this is not distributed properly. There is no any kind of, there is no justice basically, you know. Try to, distribute your work equally among the different group of people. So, ultimately people may not feel the overburden and burnout, resentment is may not be possible. I think these are all the things is very important part. Reinforcement of toxic culture, OCB is also one of the darker part of organizational citizenship behavior. OCB is meant to be a voluntarily but a toxic environment. It may become expected or coerced employees feel pressured to consistently go above and beyond to stay in favor, fearing negative evolution if they don't. Boligno, AMC, Tartney and the CIO 2010, they have identified these particular things that OCB is meant to voluntarily, but not toxic environment. See, creation of toxic environment is not good, but we are creating sometimes toxic environment that because of people are overburdened and organizations has the extra hope. Example, consider a healthcare organizations where a nurse are expected to frequently stay beyond their shift, assist other departments and manage administrative tasks, all under the guise of being team players. Those who express a need for trust or work-life balance may be subtly criticized for lacking dedication. In this environment, OCB becomes a tool that reinforces a culture of exploitation and emotional suppression, where burnout is normalized and well-being is ignored. This very important part, reinforcement of toxic culture. You know, we are frequently create some kind of intoxicity, toxic work culture, which is very common every cases. You know, people are overburdened, role is not clear, to whom work to be distributed not clear. Ultimately, that create some problems, which is the darker part of organizational citizenship behavior. Work-life conflict is very important part. Boligno and Tartney 2005, work-family conflict can be defined as a form of inter-role conflict in which the role pressures from the work and family domains is mutually incompatible in some aspect. When employees put more time at work, they will have less time to spend their family. A university professor regularly volunteers to organize academic seminars, mentor extra students, all these things. Although these are positive OCBS, they often extend into evenings and weekends, leaving little time for family, rest or personal interest. Over time, this imbalance leads to stress and strain relationship at work. Work-life conflict is one of the very important part of dimensions of work-life balance research. Nowadays, work-life balance is no more important, but what is work-life harmonization, work-life facilitation, workplace harmony, work-life harmony, justification, this is very important. Up to what time basically for work, what time for family, this is very important. You know, I think that because of already you are overburdened, that means work life, that because of work, that because of your official role and you are disturbing your life basically, personal life, it's very interesting basically, this is very interesting to understand basically what way work life conflict lead to darker part of organizational citizenship behavior. Two coin of work-life balance, work-life conflict, family work conflict, both are equally important unless you address this kind of issue, and that definitely leads some kind of work life conflict. Then gendered expectation is very important. Organizational citizenship behavior is often shaped by gender norms that influence how different behaviors are expected, rewarded or overlooked based on the employee gender. Research shows that women are more likely to be expected to perform commonly OCBS. Hillman and Chen 2005. Gendered expectation is very important part, such as helping, nurturing, showing support due to traditional gender role stereotypes. Conversely, men are often expected or rewarded more for agentic behavior like taking charges or demonstrating leadership. These gendered expectation can lead to inequalities in workload, recognition and advancement. Women may end up doing more emotional labor or external tasks that are less visible and billable in formal expectation, evolution. In corporate office, a female employee is routinely expected to mentor new hires, plan team celebrations and provide emotional support to colleagues, tasks that go beyond their job description. while these OCPs contribute positively to the workplace climate, they are not formally acknowledged during performance reviews. Meanwhile, male colleagues who focus on core technical tasks and high visibility projects are more likely to be promoted. Gendered expectation is much important. You have seen the slide. See some kind of explanation. You know, some cases what we observe at the workplace that we are expecting some of extra role from different gender base. We are expecting that women can perform this particular part, men can perform this particular part. So, this is not true exactly, but it is happening. And I think that hiring practice normally we are offering to the female people, normally it is happening basically, you know. So, we are expected that female can perform well that particular place. We are expecting that men can perform, I think gender male can perform better in some other administrative job. And I think that play a very darker part, you know. Now, research says that men, women all are fit for different types of job. So, expectation, if we perceive that it is gender based, that creates some kind of problem. Encouraging silence is very important thing. Employee silence refers to the intentional withholding of work related ideas, feedback, concerns or opinions. Like as Morrison, EW and Millikan, EJ 2000. This form of employee silence withholding work related ideas, concerns or feedbacks can be detrimental to organizational learning, innovations and ethical conduct. Some forms of OCB such as being cooperative, loyal and avoiding confrontation may implicitly discourage employees from raising dissenting opinions or reporting problems. This is particularly true in organizations where citizenship behaviors are overemphasized as markers of good employees. Example, in higher education institution, faculty members notice unfair grading practices by senior colleagues. However, because she is known for being highly collegial, cooperative and helpful, hallmarks of OCB, she chooses to remain silent to avoid disturbing team harmony or being perceived as disruptive. Over time, this silence allows unethical behavior to persist. I think this is important part, encouraging silence. This part also I have discussed some other part also, why people are silenced basically. You know, there are so many reasons, you know, people silence that because of you won't try to disturb others. People silence that because of you think that, you know, remaining silence is not helpful, not fruitful, and some people just quit from the organization. There is some theory of employee silence. But thing is that organizational citizenship behavior, you know, creates some kind of unethical silence. There is some kind of organizational silence. How? What manner basically, you know? That because of some extra role, people are not happy, and that is very much clear that this is a particular true of environment where citizenship behaviors are overemphasized as a markers of good employees. So, this is very common practices almost all of organizations. It happens oftenly that remain silence, you know, that because of more pressure, more workload, remaining silence not to give any kind of suggestions, you know, that means you will be free, then people may not feel that, you know, people may not have the more expectations from you. Some more things, you know, I need to clarify some of questions basically, you know, which is much important to prepare yourself for exam also, preliminary understanding of the questions. What is impression management in the context of OCB, and how can it lead to inauthentic behavior at work. Now see, this is very important part. You are working not because of OCB, you are working for creating impression, and that creates some kind of inauthentic behavior. You know, it is not good for organizations, you know. I have seen practically that some people are working when the boss supposed to move here and there. When boss is try to see the people what way they are working, and that particular people then they are working only. So this is some of practice basically inauthentic behavior. How can excessive OCB contribute to work life conflict? There are so many examples. I am telling you that because of extra rule behavior, it's very ever ending research in the field of OCB. So many people are trying to get the good feedback, explain how gendered expectation influence the type of OCB expected from male and female employees. How can OCB contribute to reinforcing a toxic organizational culture, particularly regarding silence and conformity? What is it exactly? Toxic culture. If you have the experience of what I say that excessive workload or burden, something like that, that creates some kind of darker part. Toxicity create that is the outcome of the darker part of the OCB. Toxicity, you need to understand, why organizations create toxicity. Is it because of organizations are highly over-expecting some of things? Yeah, that because of organizations are not knowing exactly what way goals to be setting out. They are not understanding what way target to be set out. And it has happened basically, you have the great examples that so many people, they are under pressure of OCB. People are, organizations sometimes, they are in very crisis, what is task role, what is the extra role. It is sometimes overlapped. That creates some kind of problems, that creates some kind of misunderstanding among the group of people. This is very important. So many references are there, students. You can see the slides, so many things are there, like I think which one is the best, everything's the best basically, that helps you to understand latest issues of organizational citizenship behavior, darker part of organizational citizenship behavior. I'm asking to the students, try to do some kind of research on that particular part, try to understand, is it beneficial for the organization, is it create some kind of problem for the organizations. Ultimately, we may have some real fruit of organizational citizenship behavior. So thank you very much for understanding this particular lecture basically, because this is the new part of OCB, darker part. But so many research, whatever I have seen basically, it is all about, promote the people for OCB. We are prescribing some kind of package basically for, promoting people to have OCB, but nobody cares what is the dark part of OCB. I think definitely that will help you to understand that can create some kind of, what I say that the line basically, that some tolerance line basically through which people must be thinking that what would be the level of organizational citizenship behavior. Thank you very much.